What's going on, everybody? It's your boy PTK Bland back in the building with another weekly episode of the Shop Podcast. Once again, we're coming live again every single Saturday, bringing a consistent heat. Man, we got something awesome lined up today. But first and foremost, I want to say thank everybody that's in here right now joining us live. Appreciate the love and support. You guys have been amazing the last couple of weeks. We thank you so much. We try and put on the best show we possibly can, entertain you guys, give you guys good gaming information. So if you're new here, smack the like button on your way in. Say hi in the chat. Our chat is always lit. Once again, we always ask questions towards the end of the actual podcast as well, so you guys can interact with us as well. But we're going to go ahead and have an amazing show. But let me introduce my two compatriots. And now we're going to go ahead and start with a gentleman who has officially been announced as a new member of the Shop Podcast. I wish I had some bells or something that I could shake around or something to make it more exciting. But either way, shout out to the boy Staggerly, man. Go ahead and introduce yourself, man. I'm glad you're here, but go ahead and let everybody know what's going on with you, man.
Hey everybody, it's Staggerly. Glad to be an official panel member. Thank you for having me. It's been a lot of fun the last 3 times I've been on, and I can't wait to see where this goes.
Oh, it's gonna be fun, man. We got a lot to talk about today. Me and Stagger, man, we're gonna be like the triangle offense. Me, him, Fuzz, Jar, Zarker, man. We got a lot going on, so we got some plans for the near future. So let's go ahead and dive in. But Fuzz, let's go ahead and start with you, man. Where can everybody find you, man? You always over there, Mr. Unassuming. I don't even think, you know what? I think I'm gonna stop introducing you and just let you start talking first.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Fuzzy Belvedere here. You can find me on Twitter, Fuzzy_Belvedere, or Xbox Live. Hopefully, you catch me when I'm awake. Sometimes I stream or wind up starting a race at Forza, and then when it's like, oh, time to collect the rewards, it's like, I'm out. So,
but that Forza is like a sleep simulator for you, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, but it's all fun. I'm big into racing, so it's like my comfort food, I guess you could say, to some extent. But yeah, but you can always find me on Xbox Live or on Twitter. I'm usually talking about Forza or Division because that's my main kick right now.
Awesome. And me and Fuzz play a lot, guys. So once again, all that information will be down in the description. I think I'm going to start putting our gamer tags down there as well. If you guys want to come game with us, which is the whole point of us being here, hit us up. We all have Xbox Live. Some of us have PSN as well. Some of us play on PC, Stagger. So hit him up as well, man. He does the streaming thing. But let's go ahead and dive in, man. We got a lot to unpack this week. So we had to change of plan. We kind of had to pivot a little bit before the show. I had to adjust some topics. So we actually going to start with a brand new topic. Essentially. So is the battle royale model sustainable in the long run? This is a very, very interesting topic because recently there was an article that came out essentially saying Apex Legends revenue from February to, I believe, February, March, April, I believe, dropped 74%. So we know that Fortnite has been one of the only sustainable that doesn't really go anywhere. PUBG has been pretty sustainable as well. But in the long run, are these games going to work? So those two games have kind of got a foothold, on that particular market. They've essentially gotten a corner, for the most part, Fortnite. So is there any even room for anybody else in that particular market? And we're going to start with you, Stagger, as well as everybody in the chat. Let me know how you feel about this topic as well. But what do you think, Stag? Is that, you think in the long run this can work out for other games that may be thinking about, doing a battle royale mode? Or do you think there's even any room?
I mean, I've actually talked about this a few months ago in my streams about how, personally, it's not a market for me, but I don't understand how. I mean, I can understand why they'd want to jump into the market, new games or previous games like Call of Duty or whatever, or Battlefield or even Halo. But there's only so many people that play these kind of games, right? I mean, and they're going to go check out the new thing on the block, but eventually they're going to go back to their bread and butter and play the Fortnite or play the PUBG, right? So I think it's going to be really hard for a new player to tear away a deeply embedded fan base for, say, Fortnite to play something new and invest a lot of time into it. Now, I could see Halo possibly doing that just because of the love people have for that series, but sustainable long-term outside of 2 or 3 major players, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think I'd go that route too. And honestly, because think about it. When Apex Legends came out, it took some thunder away. Some people for a little while there thought maybe this was a plant Fortnite, for the foreseeable future as the go-to, battle royale game. But Fortnite is so ingrained. Fortnite's not even a game. It's like it's a culture. It's not even a game at this point. It's like a pop culture. It's crazy. So it's Fortnite back, but you can go Fortnite see everywhere. Walmart, grocery store. So it's not just a game at this point. So Fortnite has the benefit of having that huge market. And honestly, at this particular point, like you said, I think only thing that would make sense would be our already established franchise just adding a battle royale mode. I don't think a battle royale focused game is ever going to be as big as Fortnite at this particular point. I don't think that's going to be happening. I don't think it's going to happen at all.
I think they'd have to throw there would have to be some game changing reason that just blew everybody's mind in something new. I think that if you just Apex is good. I like watching it. I don't like playing it, but it's fun to watch. It looks really, really awesome, but it's still just shooting people.
That's true. Good point. Yeah, you're right. That's crazy thinking about that. Something that differentiates a new game as opposed to something like Fortnite or PUBG, and it's really not a whole lot in that essential area or arena that you can do differently. I can't really think of anything that's like, man, that would definitely be a standout feature that's going to separate it from Fortnite or PUBG or Apex Legends. Everything that's kind of been done. I don't say everything's been done because it is technology and it's video game. There's always new ideas, but for this particular, maybe the next 2 or 3 years, I don't really see anything taking really hold. But like you said, maybe a Halo. But that's really just a game mode. It's not a standalone game. Halo, the standalone game is going to carry, that, and people are going to play it because it's Halo. But I can't see a standalone battle royale game really making any waves. But Fuzz, we're going to go ahead and bounce the question off to you as well, man. What do you think about battle royale, and especially since seeing that information that Apex Legends revenue dropped 75%, which is a huge drop all the way from 95 to 24 million in like a month and a half. What do you think? Is this model sustainable as we move along to the new generation?
I think as long as games like Fortnite continue to do seasons that keep the gamers interested, as far as with them doing the whole Marvel universe stuff right now.
Yeah,
I think that's the main thing that's kind of got at least the younger crowd and it's weird. My kids aren't into Fortnite at all. They're more into PUBG or DayZ.
You guys are lucky.
But all of their friends are still hooked on Fortnite, and now you got that custom console coming out in purple here in a couple of months.
What?
It's just
I didn't hear about that either.
There's a purple console coming out.
It still quote unquote rumor, but it's one of those things where we might see a Fortnite edition Xbox One S in purple.
Really?
But I think this game is going to continue as long as they come up with stuff that catches the kids' attention, like those seasons where it's the Marvel universe, and then who knows?
They even have Jordan now. I saw a Jordan Fortnite commercial.
Yeah. So
wow.
So it's transcending all other things that are out there. It's just it's. I don't think battle royale is sustainable in the long term in itself, because is anybody talking about Battlefield 5 anymore? As far as that Ring of Fire, is anybody really talking about Call of Duty Black Ops with was it Blackout or something like that?
No thanks.
It's I don't know, and other than the PC crowd, they're probably still playing PUBG, and a few of the Xbox fans that are still playing PUBG. I don't hear as much about PUBG. Yes, it's still showing on on Twitch and Mixer as far as one of the top 10 games, but it's definitely not the top 2 or 3. And Fortnite still holds that spot on both of them. So it's just one of those things. I think Fortnite will, dare I say this, unfortunately last until the next generation.
I don't think it's going anywhere.
I don't think so either.
I think a lot of other things will probably fall to the wayside. I'm seriously wondering why we don't have a battle royale car combat thing by now. I'm surprised that's not a thing.
We need Twisted Metal again.
Exactly.
We getting a TV show though.
Yeah.
Good lord.
Anyway, go ahead.
No, but I think that's about the only other thing that, it might take people away from Fortnite for a little bit, but in the long run, kids are going to go right back to it. As long as their parents keep on spending money on V-Bucks. And I say kids because there's some young adults and the guys our age probably still playing it too. But
a lot of streamers my age playing it.
Oh yeah.
But I think it's mainly that the customer base they're gonna keep on playing Fortnite until there's something better, and I don't think that's going to really happen until you have somebody like a whole dev squad like what they did for Apex Legends, dedicate trying to build something along those lines and test it out. Like I think Apex could bounce back, but in the long term, it's time for something new and fresh, and they're going to have to, not rebrand it, but at least add either some new modes or some new look to it or something to kind of bring some more people back to it.
Yeah. And I think that another thing is, honestly, I don't know how much money Epic is spending. Jesus Christ, buying up all these licenses. And I mean, Epic is making a lot of money every month. How much is the revenue from? What is it again? Was it like $1 billion a month or something crazy like that off that game?
Just
ridiculous.
About,
yeah, it's ridiculous. Like how much money Epic is making off that game.
Fortnite?
Yeah. What's the revenue again? Something crazy. Like something. I can't remember exactly what the revenue is, but it's far higher than pretty much any other game currently being played at this point.
Free to play, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's insane. So my take on that would be, once again, I just think you guys are accurate. I mean, I'm not big into Battle Royale. My kids are not that huge into Battle Royale as well. I don't think there's enough innovation in that space. I mean, after a little while, I get the draw of the game, initially, but after a while, it just rinse and repeat. And then you got these guys where every season, changes happen, as far as Fortnite, and they complain about the changes that happen every season, and they want the old game back. And it's like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't get it. But either way, I don't think that's a sustainable business model. I don't think I'm gonna be supporting any Battle Royale. I mean, unless it's Battle Royale in Plants vs. Zombie 3. Then I'll support that. But other than that, I don't think I'll be supporting too much Fortnite or Battle Royale games. It's not really up my cup of tea at this particular point. So once again, chat, you guys are very vocal about the whole Battle Royale. Let us know in the comment section what you guys think about the first topic. Once again, that's just kind of our warm up, man. And we're gonna go ahead and move this train along to the next topic. And if you're in here for your first time, smack the like button. Subscribe to the channel. We so much appreciate that. So let's move on to the next thing. And this is a big one.
Real quick, it was 200 million.
200. Oh, Jesus Christ. A month?
Wait. It was played by more than 200 million people, and it blew past 1 billion in revenue in January.
Wow. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
In January. That's when the article was dated that I just looked up. So.
They're making EA money.
Yeah, it's ridiculous how much money they're making. Yep. Sorry, I thought we'd need to hit that just since we brought it up.
Oh, no, for sure. So that just goes to show you guys that Fortnite is not going anywhere anytime soon, man. And
that's why more people are going to make games like that, because there's $1 billion out there to be had.
Yeah. But I mean, Fortnite is you only get one of those. Like, there's only something like that only comes around one. You can't replicate it. You can't recreate the magic around that game that it captured when it came out. Everything worked in that game's favor when it came out. I mean, there was nothing else out like it but PUBG, and at that point, PUBG was getting killed because it didn't run at all well on the Xbox and on consoles. Then Fortnite came out and ran beautifully right out the gate, was really easy to play, very kid-friendly, which PUBG was not. And so it just took off running. It hasn't looked bad since. So anyway, let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. I can talk about Battle Royale all day, but this next topic, I probably should have saved it for the last topic, but we're gonna go ahead and cover it now. So this is actually, we're talking about Sony, Nintendo, and Xbox. So recently, we all know Sony signed up to start using the Azure service for a lot of different reasons, some enterprise reasons, a lot of gaming reasons as well. Now recently, I did see on Twitter, I think it was a rumor, whatever the case may be, but I just wanted to pose the question essentially that what if Nintendo was to jump on board? We know Nintendo does not have really their own online infrastructure. They're starting to build it, but it's not nearly as robust as Sony's or Xbox's. So what if Nintendo decided to jump in, and throw their hat in the ring and say, hey, let's go ahead and sign up and use their service as well. So I wanted to run that by you, Stagger. What do you think would happen if that was to be an official announcement? All three were all on the same servers and all kind of working together in that particular area. So how would you feel about that? What kind of impact do you think that would have on the entire gaming industry?
So, I mean, like, I think it would be awesome. I mean, it just gives more options and more avenues for the gamers to possibly have access to, a better service and possibly, good crossplay and the ability to play games on another system without owning said system. Because we know, Microsoft's whole thing is like play their stuff anywhere. Which I mean, I think they're the unspoken though is they do kind of want to make it happen that we can play everything anywhere, anything, anytime. Kind of like doesn't matter what system it is here, you can play this here. I think that's the thing, and
Okay.
I'm just scanning here.
Okay, no, you're fine. You're fine. I want to just give a shout out to Wolf. He mentioned something here in the chat. He said, I think Nintendo is going to go the same route as Sony. Sign up, learn, tinker, create, and leave. Do you think that that's possible? I don't know what kind of deal. We obviously don't know.
Well, so one thing that's like a little bit glossed over is there's actually no real deal right now. It's just a memorandum of understanding. It's a non-binding handshake. Both parties can clap their hands and walk away right now and be like, okay, no harm, no foul, except for the eventual fallout of whoever gets the flack from whoever's fan base or the other side, whatever. I mean, there's that. So I don't see, barring some craziness, Sony or Microsoft walking away from this at this point. I think it would be bad press for both of them.
Oh yeah, and they don't. But I think with Google hanging on. So.
Well, yeah, and I think Nintendo, like, it would make sense, but we also know that Nintendo, like, I'm 75-25, like with 75% Nintendo joining and 25% of them just walking away and doing their own freaking thing, signing with Amazon or Google, or just doing their own thing. Because as we've seen continually, Nintendo's really good at just doing whatever the heck they want.
Not their strength. They don't have that at all. So,
but if they want to make money and grab a bigger fan base and get access to the markets that Sony and Microsoft have, they're going to have to, I think.
So you think that change is going to be forced change? You don't think it's going to be something that they just?
Well, I mean, there was those rumors already, or a couple months ago between Xbox and Nintendo, and then that all just kind of disappeared and wasn't a thing. But maybe there's something going on that they, so maybe something's already in the works. True. Who knows? I think it would be beneficial for both parties. I mean, Microsoft doesn't have a handheld. Nintendo needs online cloud servers. I mean, we could, something cool could happen there, maybe.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, necessary.
It's a great point. Definitely necessary. So I agree. I think, before we get to Fuzz, I think I agree with that. Sony, Nintendo does not have, that's not their strength at all. That's not something that they've embraced. Hell, I mean, I remember back in either 14 or 15, I can't remember the exact guy. Nintendo said, we just started taking online serious. It was like 2014. I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? Right. Does this man not own a laptop or a computer? Does he not know people play video games online? It's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard. But yeah, this is definitely something I can see Nintendo taking advantage of, especially now that Sony's on board. Nintendo kind of beats to, they kind of dance to their own drums, but this is something that I don't think that they can replicate on their own. It would take too long for them to get something like this up and running. Too much money, and it would take entirely too long. They'd be way late to the party. I mean, we'd all be playing on our cell phones by the time Nintendo got around to making some kind of an infrastructure to compete. So I think this is something that they're looking at. I think at the very least they're looking at it as an option. They may not actually, dive into it right away, but I think they're taking a look at it like, Sony, I don't know. Google's there, Amazon's there, Apple's there. I don't know. I'm not sure. We shouldn't be left behind. So, and it's beneficial to everybody. Like you said, you don't know what other things can come of this. Now, Nintendo joining up with Xbox would not be for the same reason Sony did. Sony has other interests as well outside of gaming with Azure servers. It's not just gaming with them. Nintendo, it'd be strictly a gaming, partnership. So that'd be very, very interesting. We're gonna go ahead and bounce this over to you, Fuzz, and chat once again. Let us know how you guys feel about this down in the comment section as well. So Fuzz, what do you think? Is this necessary for Nintendo? And what are the odds you think of us seeing something like this?
I would say I'm about 100% sure that Nintendo is going to at least work on something along this lines or come to some sort of agreement with Microsoft. I'm actually surprised that Sony kind of beat them to it. Like what Stagger had hinted to earlier, we had heard rumors and mumblings about some sort of backdoor deal between Nintendo and Xbox beforehand. And we didn't have much of the details, but we kind of figured it would be something related to online or something related to like mobile play or play anywhere type of thing.
Mhm.
So this just makes sense as far as looking at the bigger picture as far as what Nintendo has to offer now. Well, not what they have to offer, but like their weakest point is going to be their online services, as well as like their party chat and a few other things. So if they can work with Microsoft to help strengthen those things, it'll make it better for their customer base, as well as if you have that type of investment in Azure servers, we're going to hopefully see some other benefits on the Microsoft end of things, meaning that they'll be able to acquire more or build more servers that'll be specific for what we want on our Xbox Live and things. So it's kind of like, I always look at it like the auto industry. I'm big into the auto industry as far as my main career. So you have like the big three, like Ford, Chevy, or Ford, GM, and Chrysler. They've worked in the past on like certain transmissions and certain um, uh, like ignition systems and things like that were more fuel efficient. So if they work together using those same systems, and everybody can raise the fuel efficiency, then they don't have to worry about government intervention and stepping in and mandating certain things, and two, it makes it easier where you can share the cost on R&D or tech. If you don't have to reinvest on building another 8-speed transmission or reinvest on building a cloud server or something like that, you can put those finances into other aspects of the business that will benefit your customers and benefit the shareholders as well as the business as a whole. So I'm just surprised Nintendo didn't beat Sony to the punch. But then again, I think if no news had leaked out before E3, we would have probably heard something at E3 about it, and then Sony would be like shortly after when they have like their PSX, which they haven't denied or confirmed yet. I don't think for this year. I know they said they wouldn't do anything in or around E3, but they kind of left the door open for other than a PSX or something from last year, and didn't give specifics on when the next one would be. So
I kind of think they're not going to do anything now, or maybe they're going to come out on stage at E3 with Microsoft.
Sony?
Yeah.
What? No.
I
never considered that. I didn't even think about that. Sony to talk about the Azure partnership?
Yeah, it could happen. I mean, the presentation's going to be really long.
Bro, listen, the Twitter's going to explode if that happens.
Oh my God.
Turn my damn phone off.
Boom.
Oh my God. I didn't consider that possibility, but
it may not happen. It's a shot in the dark.
True. I mean, it's not a bad thing. I mean, they all came out together at the Game Awards. Remember that? They all walked out on stage together. That was a different meaning behind that. But still, I mean, that's a cool concept. But go ahead, Fuzz. I don't want you to.
No. I like that idea that Stagger was saying. It unified. They're stronger compared to going against Google and Apple, which I don't know if anybody's looked at Apple's site. And if you just go to apple.com/arcade, that's going to be their kind of Game Pass on your phone and probably on your Apple TV or maybe even your regular TV for that matter. So Apple's one of those companies, they won't go to E3. They'll do their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know when they're going to make that an official announcement. If Steve Jobs had been more of a gamer or into gaming a little bit more, maybe we would have had this a little bit earlier. But yeah.
Landscape would be totally different.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
But these three kind of need each other to weather the storm against the billions of dollars that Google has and the billions of dollars that Apple has, because
Amazon as well.
Yeah, and Amazon being the one that's kind of they're always doing this wait and see. It's like they're about to destroy the grocery shopping market with no attendees in the store. It's just you go in with your phone and a shopping cart and you put stuff in the cart and you walk out and it's already built. So I can only imagine what they're going to do to gaming. Hopefully for the good, but I don't know. There's the behemoth in the background that kind of worries me a little, but nonetheless, Sony and Nintendo and Xbox, if they can do, some sort of partnership, announce that at E3, it would definitely probably put Google a little bit more on its heels and actually make it a lot more interesting to see what Google's going to not necessarily give away, but throw at the consumer to lure them away from any of those big three that are going to kind of stand shoulder to shoulder. So
You get free controllers.
yeah.
Who knows? I mean, you got to do something to compete. I mean, you don't really have a horse in the race. You gotta be, kind of, what did they say? It got to be kind of outrageous, if you want to make that big splash in the market. So I wouldn't be surprised if Google did something insane, as far as that goes, just to try and make headway into the market and get a good jump start. But either way, those ideas from you and Stagger were both great. I mean, I didn't even see, I didn't never consider maybe Sony being on stage with, Xbox. I didn't even think about that as far as just coming out saying, hey, we have this, deal or partnership and yada, yada, yada. That would be incredibly cool if that happened. And I think that would pretty much put this whole console shit to war, console shit to bed. As far as this whole console war, that would pretty much put it to rest at that particular point. And but once again, it's a great idea though, man. I'm really, really excited about E3, really excited about all of this, man. And we'll definitely see more to come in the near future, guys. So let's go ahead and move on to the next topic and keep this thing moving. Once again, smack the like button on your way in, man. Say hi in the chat. We like to have fun. The chat is already popping off, and thank everybody that's already here. So next, we're going to be talking Gears 5, man. And this is something I'm extremely excited about, guys. Extremely excited about. Now, I'm not going to say this is confirmed or anything like that, but I did see some rumors. I've seen some tweets, a couple different things about potentially Gears 5 being open world, 4K,
Gears 5.
all kind of different cool things, man. The game looks phenomenal. We've only seen a little bit, but the question I want to ask is the open world portion, okay? Because this is something that we've been talking about with Halo. We've never even really considered it with Gears for the most part. At least some of us haven't. First of all, how would open world Gears essentially work? Not how would it work, but you think it would be possible, and the universe, would it work well? On top of the fact that, how excited are you guys about potentially this information being true? So we're going to go ahead and start with you, Stagger. First, how would you feel about the open world? And next, what do you think about if all this information we're getting about Gears is true?
If this was a video podcast, you'd already know. I'm like bouncing in my chair and like thumbs upping and like, yes, please let me go over there and do side missions and learn more about the world. Because I love Halo and I love Gears of War and I love the whole universes behind them. I've read the books. I've got the freaking encyclopedias and like I'm about to pre-order the art for the Gears 5. I think it would be huge for the series if they do it right. I mean, there's so many, like if they open worlded it and you had side missions that were optional, you had more freedom to explore and learn, more about what Kate's story is or Marcus's story or, fucking Coltrane's story, any of them really, that would be great. Like just if they incorporated some of the older stuff into the newer game and plus gave us more about, all the questions they left unanswered at the end of 4.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all about it. I mean, more areas to explore possibly and just like.
So
yes, please. Very much so.
I do want to say something though, because there's different levels to open world. Open world doesn't always mean you can just run around everywhere. There's games that are open world that are really still fairly linear. Like I'd even say, think about the old Halos. Those were kind of open world.
But they were definitely, you had a point A to point
There's a
B.
point A to point B, but you could kind of, each area you could kind of explore, and it was fairly
And
large.
get lost.
Exploring and kind of get lost. So it's not really open world. So do you think when they say open world, you think more Halo open world or like open world like Red Dead?
Don't give me Red Dead, please. That's not my thing. I would go with I've played it recently and it's in my head. Rage 2 was a really good open world linear-esque type game. It wasn't very linear, but I just screwed off doing side missions for like 2 days and I was like, oh, there's like a main mission over there. I should probably go do that. But the game took me longer to finish because I was just off screwing around doing stuff. And I love having that freedom. I mean, I don't want to be slogging through an open world for 100 hours, mind you, to find everything. But, if you give me like 20 to 30 hours of content, including the main line, I'm happy. Plus all the multiplayer. Come on.
Yeah.
Man. Okay, cool. So I would agree with that mostly. It's a cool concept. Like I said, we've talked about this with Halo. We've talked about this, extensively with Gears as well. It's kind of odd, and it's funny because I feel like Microsoft is really they're really trying to. These are tentpole franchises. This is what Xbox stands on: the Halos, the Gears. This is what we expect as Xbox fans, and the fact that they're realistically looking at changing these games in these dramatic ways kind of gets me excited, and definitely means that the mind state or mind frame is changing now that Phil is at the head of the company. Because I don't know if these same decisions or choices will be made if we still had that other guy that was in charge. So it's just kind of cool. I love the fact that Microsoft and Xbox are looking at these options, looking at the kind of games or that are now trying to take these franchises that have been around for 10 plus years and extend them and do different things and be experiment with them to get everybody excited about them again. Because we know at the end of the day, I'm excited for Gears no matter what. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, and majority of fans are, but it's cool to see that they're taking chances with the franchise. So, Fuzz, I want to go ahead and throw that question to you as well. First, open world. How much open world are you looking for? And then, second of all, what do you think of some of the additional information is true as well? 4K 60, that kind of stuff.
Well, I'll start off with the 4K 60. Yes and yes. Definitely would love to see that. The 4K and 30 frames for the story mode was it was beautiful. I'm new to the franchise, so with me starting at Gears 4, I love the cover combat or the cover to cover type combat. Reminds me a lot of my favorite game, the Division. It's just that I got to get better at it on the multiplayer. I admit it. I suck at the multiplayer, but for the most part, 4K 60 that will just make it even that much more crisp. I mean, I think it was it 1080 60 for the multiplayer for the most part, but if they can do 4K and 60 all the way around, that butter smooth, that'd be perfect.
Beautiful.
Oh man!
But as far as the
so good.
Yeah, as far as the open world aspect of it, though, I'm all for it. If it's something along the lines, kind of like what Stagger mentioned with like Rage 2, or even like the way the Division 2's open world is, you have your set story mission locations, but along the way you'll stumble across, a side mission or a public event type of thing. So something to that effect, I'm all for it because, as you know, even with the Division, it's like, oh yeah, let's go from point A to point B, and it never winds up being point A to point B. I mean, Sean will even tell you, it's like, oh, we started at point A and we got ambushed, and then we turned the corner and we got ambushed again, and then we rescued some civilians. So if they have anything remotely close to that type of, dynamic, storyline that you can take, you don't have to just go from A to B from story point to story point. I'd be all for it. That would be awesome, and probably sink a lot of hours into that game, because things like that that adds to the replayability. It's like, okay, you've already finished it. Instead of just doing like a new game plus, well, let's explore the world a bit more. Let's go and see how these things tie into the lore of the series and stuff like that. So yeah, I would be all for it. I definitely am looking forward to that.
Okay, cool. You know what? Then that's a really, really cool idea, man. I think that a game like this would greatly benefit from it. Now, like I said, there's different levels of open world. I'm not talking like Red Dead open world. I don't know. You were mentioning Division 2. I don't know how they would be able to execute that with something like Gears, because the locales are probably going to be so different. I mean, the map would have to be gigantic for that to work. For to really feel like you're traveling and going to a new area, there's probably be load screens, things like that, a la Anthem. To get different, but true, because look at the locations we've been seeing in the little bits we've seen from here. There are ice and all these jungles and cliffs and all this other stuff. Like that'd be tough to pull off in open world Gears, especially the 4K 60. But I can see, like you guys said, a Rage 2-esque open world. It's still kind of linear, but there's a lot more you can do. Look around. You don't have to necessarily run and go just do the objective right away. So I think that would work very, very well with Gears. And I'm just excited, man, because this is the first time, guys, you guys realize this. They're really thinking about taking these franchises in a different direction. And this is exciting. Now, once again, how it works out remains to be seen. But the idea of it's really, really exciting and really cool. And it just gets me that much more pumped for Gears, man. And the 4K 60 and Man, it's gonna be insane, and I'm extremely excited about it. Shout out to Xbot, just joined. It's my guy, man. He has his podcast Sundays as well, so shout out to him. Go follow him. Go subscribe to his channel. But we're gonna go ahead and move on, man. We got one more topic, and I saved this one for last, man. This is a game that we've all been looking forward to. I think a lot of us feel like this may be the one. I know we said that a lot about a lot of games, but I feel like this may be the one that kind of shifts us out of this generation to the next, and that's going to be Cyberpunk 2077, everybody. So I recently saw an article saying that they have dedicated 400 developers to working on this single game, which is massive. There are full studios that don't even have 400 people. So for them to just be dedicated to working on that game is amazing. So besides the fact that they have that many people working on it, I want to know you guys' expectations for Cyberpunk. You guys really feel like it could potentially be that, okay, we've really moved to the next generation. This is something completely different. So I want to start with you, Stagger, again. What do you think about the fact that they have this many people dedicated, as well as what do you think about the overall game? When are we going to get Cyberpunk and the impact it's going to have when it comes out?
Well, so first off, like The Witcher 3 had like 150 people working on it in that game. I mean, I haven't played it, but I understand how much people love that game, like, and how good they proclaim it is. I haven't played it, but they've gotten a lot of clout off of that game, so it makes me feel. And if you put 400 people at this game, and what we've seen already, granted, it was a little bit of a scripted gameplay, but it wasn't, like what we see when we see a Call of Duty commercial or whatever, where there's actually no gameplay and it's all CGI and it's all like it's false promises, and then you get the game and it's something totally different. But I mean, I really think like the game's gonna blow people away around the depths of the storyline, quests, skill trees, and upgrades. I'm a little worried about like how much busy work there'll be, because I'm not a huge RPG guy. I'm not a fan of crafting. I'm not a fan of like overly complicated skill trees. But like that it's sci-fi really grabs me, and that was like the only RPG I've ever really liked is Mass Effect, and that grabbed me because of the sci-fi story, and I think that's gonna like resonate with a lot of people. I think it's great that they have a ton of people working on it. I think it's great that they publish their own games. You know what I mean? They're very pro-consumer. They're going to spend the time, and they've said, we're not going to, like, you're going to get the game when it releases. This game's going to be complete for the most part. I mean, there's going to be more stuff eventually, probably. But, like, we're going to ship you a game that works, and we're not going to ship it till it's ready, because that's their, like, passion to not only their product, but to giving us a playable product that works when we spend our money on it. So 400 people is going to help that, right? I'm excited to see more about this game at E3, because they're going to show more. It's been confirmed they're showing more. So I really feel like this game's definitely going to live up to the hype. I think it's not going to be released till sometime in 2020.
Okay.
But I don't think this one's going to let us down.
Okay. You know what? And it's crazy because we've said that about so many games and so many games generation. I've been let down about game generation probably like more this generation than combined any other generation. Like all previous ones, as far as games in this last 7-8 years, man, it's so many games we've held as being the next thing, being the next biggest thing, and it just falls flat on its face. But I got a great feeling about Cyberpunk 2077, the amount of attention that they're taking towards this game. And if I recall, Witcher 3 never came out. That didn't never require a patch or anything when it came out. It came out fully playable.
And that's their plan with this. It's like, this game is going to be ready when we launch it, and we're not going to do it until then.
That's one of the few games, Witcher 3, is to come out and not need a day one patch. The fans didn't blow up about, all this crazy in-game stuff going on.
Well, and they've got the support of I was listening to something today, like the Polish Institute's giving them money, and it's just crazy, like the support they have to give us a good product. It's amazing, actually. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I know, Fuzz, you are extremely excited about this game. Cyberpunk is right up your alley.
Yeah.
What was that movie we were saying it was very similar to?
Fifth Element,
Fifth
as
Element.
well as like
Fifth Element, Minority
A little
Report.
Blade Runner in
yeah,
it too, maybe.
Blade Runner. So
Minority
yeah,
Report.
I can't wait for this game, but well, I'm gonna have to. But 400 devs tells me that they're. I think this is going to be the big defining factor between this and other games this generation or even next is going to be that we might play the game exactly the same and have totally different outcomes. And I'm not talking like a Detroit Becomes Human, different outcomes. I'm talking like you turned the same corner, went the same alleyway, went to the same store, and we get different weapons, we get different interactions, we see different people that may not even pop up in your game are now, on my contact list in my game type of thing. I think there's going to be such a variation just because the way they even showed like their demo, and even though it was, kind of put together, but the fact that you can be set out to do an A to B mission and then have like 16 other things that can be, kind of rolled into that. And depending on what you do and what you choose to, or how you choose to go about it, it plays out differently. I think having those 400 devs is going to add to making everybody's experience in this game unique. And that's one of the biggest things I'm excited about. Just the fact that it's not like, okay, there's going to be guides on, okay, well, this is what you have to do to get this, power jacket or this particular weapon. But that guide might only be like a rough outline. Like you just have to show up on Tuesday at this store type of thing, as opposed to, well, you got to do this, this, and this. And you try those things and it doesn't work for you, but it works for the other people. So it's, man, 400 devs is that's a lot. I mean, how many, well, I think about the only other game that I've heard of that had anywhere near that, and I think it was still somewhere in the 200 and 300 range, was what, Red Dead?
Yeah, I think Red Dead was like 250. I think, if
Yeah.
I remember correctly. I'm not sure.
So I mean, this game is going to more than likely be bigger than Red Dead and Grand Theft Auto 6 combined type of thing. But yeah, oh man, it's reassuring to hear they have that many devs and they have that type of confidence in the product. And I'm hoping that the fan base supports the game and the game is everything that we expect. I think this is going to be one of those games where, unless we are dreaming for every pie in the sky, I don't think we'll be let down in any way, shape, or form. But 400 devs, that's
mind blowing.
That's a lot of muscle. There's a lot of muscle behind getting that game ready and all the kinks worked
the
out.
article said, and I don't have this in quotations because I don't have it in front of me, but they spoke with the guy that, I don't know if he was the head of the studio. He may have been the head of the studio. He said that they will hire more if they need to because they won't be doing any of that crunch stuff. And he specifically mentioned crunch stuff. We'll just hire more people if we need to. So the pocketbook is open. So this game, I mean, it's crazy because they showed us 45 minutes, almost 50 minutes, I think, of gameplay. We don't ever. What other game has done it? Like that's not even close to being out. Like show you that much gameplay, almost an hour worth of gameplay. Now, once again, it may have been scripted, semi-scripted, whatever. But it was still gameplay. Then they did tell us.
It's only scripted in the sense to show you what the game could do. The different elements of what you could do throughout the game in a small period of time.
Specific scenarios, things like that, just to kind of give you a better idea of what the capabilities are of the game. But I think Cyberpunk is oh my goodness, I'm just so excited about it. We've never gotten a game that's tackled this genre. I mean, we've gotten like Deus Ex, things like that kind of go that direction, but not full like pop punk, cyberpunk, like you said, Blade Runner, Fifth Element, that kind of stuff, something that we can relate to. And the fact that they're treating this game with so much care, so much love, and they're dedicating so many developers to this game, I am super, 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 super excited about it, man. I cannot wait. Now, I want to ask you guys to kind of piggyback off that question about Cyberpunk. Do you think, and I want you guys in on this as well, chat, that this game could potentially maybe supplant like GTA as that next game if we're going to be talking about being in the top, I don't know, the top 5, top 10, maybe 4 or 5 years later, as far as like sales and just strength of the game if they continue to support it? Do anybody think that could potentially happen? And how long do you think this type of game shelf life is going to be. You think we'll be playing this for 2, 3, 4 years, maybe?
I think it's definitely going to be a 2 to 3 year after its launch that people will still be playing it. I think at that point, then they'll probably reissue it like an all inclusive. Well, not really, because they don't really do like an all included, but like whatever DLC that they plan on adding type of thing, they'll have like the complete edition or something like that type of deal. But I honestly think that this game is gonna one supplant or bump GTA 6 out of the way. It's gonna have, I think, the stay power that GTA 5 had from the end of the PS3 and 360 era into the early parts of the Xbox One and PS4 era. So I don't know. I don't even think Rockstar, even if they had everybody working from day one of the launch of Grand Theft Auto 5 up until now, working on GTA 6, and even if the supposed rumors of being able to hop between 3 different maps is all true, I still don't think that would outdo what Cyberpunk is going to be able to do. And just because I think it's 3 cities and 5. Well, no, I think it's like either 3 cities or 5 cities or something like that. But the overall size of it, being
This
able
is
to
Cyberpunk or GTA you talking?
no for Cyberpunk.
Okay.
I think they showed like a brief map, or some people have analyzed like the video based on like the map on the train system, on how big the map would be. But it's like either 3 large cities or 5 large cities or something to that effect. And one of the large cities has like, complete, like think of an apartment building as being almost like a mini city per se, and they have like a bunch of huge ones in that one part of town. But I think this is going to be the game that kind of makes us forget about any other RPG open world type of game for a good bit, kind of like the way GTA 5 did, from last gen to this gen.
And another thing, you mentioned that DLC. Remember that Witcher 3 DLC was as big as a normal game, the actual DLC. So if we're expecting that type of DLC from Cyberpunk, we are in for a long ride, people.
Yeah, but it's still just a single player game, though, right?
It is.
That's
But
the one thing that like GTA can like have over it, is they've got that multiplayer aspect, and people spending a ton of money on the multiplayer. That don't get me wrong, Cyberpunk's probably going to be an amazing game. You're probably going to play the crap out of it, but like, is it really gonna attract, like chat saying? And I agree with Shansu, and if I'm saying that right, and Jago, like, well, not Jago, Xbot, excuse me. That it's just it's a slightly different demographic, really. I mean, I think Cyberpunk's more of a, I mean, granted, it's got the open world aspects, but what RPGs really don't. But and then like Grand Theft Auto, outside of the story being open world, that game, in my opinion, the draw is the multiplayer after you've played the game, if you even play the single player. So
absolutely, yeah. And that's the biggest difference at this particular point. And that's the one thing I think we all agree that would make the biggest difference between the two games, because obviously adding multiplayer to a game like GTA adds an extremely high amount of replayability to an already great game. And like, you're right. I mean, GTA would probably go towards more of a different demographic, and once again, GTA has that pedigree. Everybody's kind of stuck with GTA, and we've heard of it, we know of it, it's kind of ingrained, as far as into us gamers as being a great game. So this is something that Cyberpunk's going to have to work its way up to. I still think overall it's going to be a phenomenal game. I don't think there's going to be any other RPG close to it as far as, open world RPG, as far as replayability, as far as content. I don't think there's going to be anything else close.
Well, another thing, and I got to check the archives on it. I could have sworn that CD Projekt Red hired some pretty high-profile multiplayer dev personalities, and when asked about it, if it was going to be for like the next Witcher or if it was going to be for Cyberpunk, they kind of got quiet about it. But they definitely have some multiplayer
aspirations.
Yeah, for I believe they have it for Cyberpunk more so than like a Witcher 4, because they still haven't really claimed that they're going to do a Witcher 4. They're like, oh, well, 3 was kind of where we expected the series to end. But even though they haven't full on announced it, I think we will see, even if it's only as much as what you find in like Watch Dogs or Watch Dogs 2, as far as being able to bounce in and out of, you know, your friend's game or certain side mission type things that you could do online. I have a gut feeling they're going to have some sort of multiplayer aspect in there.
Okay, I can see that happening. I mean, now I don't know if that'll be the focus right away. Obviously, later on down
Right.
the line, that may be something that they think about implementing, depending on how many people want something like that. Because I mean, there may be so much shit to do in a single player that nobody even worries about multiplayer. There may be just so much
Sure.
you don't even have to think about. Like, how the fuck am I gonna do multiplayer when I can't even finish all the single player stuff? So much stuff to do. So, and once again, I feel like Cyberpunk is gonna give us something that we haven't seen yet, as far as RPG elements, as far as, like you said, dynamic. The game being just dynamic. Maybe, like you said, going through the map a couple different times. You may go down the street, make a left, and then maybe 10 minutes later go down that same street, and then maybe something else completely different going on. Maybe they're stopped in the middle of the street. Maybe somebody got in an accident. All kind of crazy stuff. So you never know.
Oh, sorry. What?
Shout out to Jago, because he said that's why he plays GTA. He just go to the strip clubs in GTA.
Right, man.
Shout out to you, man, keeping it honest over there, my G. But
we all spent too much time in that strip club.
vicariously living through GTA.
Yeah.
Either way, man, I think we're gonna go ahead and open it up for questions, man. We got some cool people in here. The chat is lit as fuck. I can't even keep up. I'm trying to answer everybody, but go ahead and drop some questions in the chat right now. We're gonna take about 2 or 3 questions for the panel here, man. We had such an amazing show. Smack that like button as well. Let me go ahead and give a few shout outs to everybody who's here. I don't want to miss anybody, man. Shout out to Cyber Gunter, Warwolf, obviously Shonsu Mod of the Year, Z Black Rider, Jago, obviously you, Xbox Social, Caleb. I saw some other people in here earlier as well. If I miss you, I'm sorry. Soul Reaper. There's a ton of people in here, so I just really appreciate it, guys. Thank you guys for coming out. Hope you're enjoying the show. Once again, go ahead and just throw some questions down in the chat right now. We're gonna go ahead and try and answer them though. Here we go. So Shonsu got one already. So he said, what gaming system started your love for video games? So we're going to go with the oldest member of the show, and that's Stagger. So we're going to start with you first.
What do we want, where I started or what really
what
developed?
System, it may not be like you started, but what system, kind of made you fall in love with
games? God, I could go so many routes here. I really loved the GameCube. I started on a ColecoVision. That's how old I am. I've played on Intellivision and all that, but really, Dreamcast.
Okay.
Dreamcast was like so much fun to play. NFL 2K was great. The games were a lot of fun. It was breaking some like barriers with that little thing you could put in the controller. I don't remember what that thing was, but I just really loved it as a precursor to the before I got a GameCube and before I got an Xbox and stuff. And I jumped out of the Sony bandwagon after one, but the Dreamcast is probably the system I love the most for not even having one anymore.
Okay.
So yeah, that's where I'm going with it. Dreamcast.
I love the Dreamcast. I'm a huge Dreamcast fan. So I agree with you on that one. But I guess for me, if I had to go next, it's probably gonna be actually the OG Xbox, to be honest with you. Now, I'm a little older. I'm about 35 years older, so give or take a few years. We're not gonna dive into that, but either way, for me, so I'm a big Sega fan. I was a Sega kid growing up, so Genesis, obviously, Sega Master System is something that really stuck with me. We used to be on a playground arguing about Super Nintendo, Sega, but I was always a Sega kid. But for real, in all honesty, if I had to really sit and think about it, it's probably the OG Xbox and the experience of playing that game, man. You know what got me, and I'm sure the chat can, remember this as well. When I was able to I was able to put music on my system.
Nice.
And like play it while I was either cleaning up my room. That shit was so crazy. I'm like, what? I could like burn a CD, or not burn, but like download my music to my system and listen to it without the disc. What? Like, what kind of shit is that? So those things like that, and obviously Halo was probably that game that just opened my eyes completely to gaming and made me fall completely in love with it. But I would say the OG Xbox for the most part. What about you, Fuzz?
It's a tough one. I was also a Sega kid. Although Coleco was my first system that I actually owned. My sister had a 2600, but I would say the Sega Genesis, 16-bit over the 8-bit. I had the Master System. It was great, but it didn't look quite like the arcade. But by the time the Genesis came out, it was close enough to the arcade for games like Outrun, Hang On, and Afterburner 2 and stuff like that. And then this is going to probably sound like a fanboy, but I don't care. My Xbox One X is the one right after that, and it's primarily because of what it's done for the graphics on a home console. For me, I was a PC guy after the PlayStation 1, and it took me a while to even bother going back to console. Went back to the PS3 and kind of missed going back. Well, I still kept my PC. I just didn't, update as often, like the video cards and all that stuff as much. But the Xbox One X makes me not really miss a PC other than the modding aspect of games. But the Genesis was the main one that just made me know that, hey, I don't have to spend quarters at the arcade anymore. I can just hook this up to the TV in the living room, and this is as close as I can possibly stand at that point in time to what the arcade could do in comparison. And it's in my house, so it's like that was perfect for me.
Okay, cool. So great answers. Shout out to Chris Stills. He said no love for Atari. So I mean, I got love for Atari as well. That's a little bit before when I was really, really incredibly small. And there was other things out by the time I got old enough to really get into video games. So I didn't play much of an Atari. My cousin had a ColecoVision as well. So I'm with you on that one. One controller with a knob on it, all kind of weird shit, and a phone cord, ridiculous.
All those buttons,
yeah, ridiculous. Look like a damn rotary phone or something. It's crazy. But either way, we got some great questions, man. Now, shout out to Xbox for your question. Xbox, we did answer that question. We talked about that kind of not pre-show, but kind of early. That was like our first topic. We talked about game. We didn't really talk about the game streaming aspect, but I feel like we've covered that for the most part. I think all of us are in agreement that at some point it's going to be a thing. We don't know when, but I think we're all in agreement that it's gaining popularity and something that these big companies are really looking to. I mean, these companies aren't making the kind of moves that they're making. Essentially joining up, Google throwing their hat in the ring, maybe Apple. So that leads me to believe that everybody's going to be taking it seriously, and they think that this may be the next big wave. So let's go ahead and get to Warwolf. This is a fun question. He said, if you could port one game from one system to another that is exclusive, what would it be and why? That's a fun question. So we're going to start with you, Stagger. One game, one system ported over. That is exclusive.
My boy Xbox Social is going to love me for this, but Xbox needs a real baseball game. MLB The Show. Okay. Just saying it. That's. I mean, I love playing that on my PS4, but if I could play it on my Xbox for achievements, you goddamn right I would be.
That's a good choice. That is a damn good choice. All right. What about you, Fuzz?
Smash Brothers. Smash Brothers to Xbox.
What?
Yeah, just I like fighting games, and there's a definite miss right now. I mean, yeah, there's still Killer Instinct, but just something like Smash Brothers, and what Xbox, if Xbox also added some of its own characters to it as well, yeah, that would do it for me.
Okay, cool. So for me, I think I've already answered this. For me, it would be God of War. For me, I'd love to see
a good one.
I mean, oh my God, I'm such a big God of War fan, but that's one game that I'm envious of. I don't have to be envious because I can play it on the PlayStation, but it's one that I'm like, God, this game is so fucking good. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jesus, I wish it was available over here. And you never know, we may see something like that. Baseball is a good one. I didn't even consider that at all.
Yeah.
That would be fucking amazing. And another game that I think everybody could benefit from having, can we get a damn fight night? Or a boxing game, please? God, Jesus Christ!
Right? Yeah.
I know the reason why we don't have one. The license. Yeah. Everybody's kind of their own. There's no uniform body. That governs all of boxing. Everybody's kind of their individual. So you'd have to go to each person and try and make a deal with them. Each boxer.
Even if they just made it where you create your own character, I just want something like that.
What was that one? Was called like Face Off or something? Or on the 360, it was a cartoony ass boxing game. Give me some of that action, bro.
Damn it! The one with the guy with the Afro Thunder, and all of that kind of stuff. I know what you're talking about, man. Damn it!
It was fun as hell. I can't remember the name of it though.
I can't remember it either. So Great question, though. Appreciate that. Werewolf. So I think we got a couple more in here. Okay, Cyber Gunter had a fun one too. This is probably gonna be our last one before we wrap it up, guys. It said, if you could be any video game character, who would you be and why? This is a very, very fun one. So we're gonna start with you again, Stagger. What do you think, man? Who would you be and why if you could pick one video game character?
Man, I'm going with Terry Crews in Crackdown 3 because he says the best shit ever. God damn, he's so much fun to play.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
what I'm going with, man. I'd love to run around and be that motherfucker.
I don't
dude,
know if
and say the crazy shit.
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
already say a bunch of crazy shit anyways. I don't need help, but goddamn, it'd be way cool.
Yeah.
Terry Crews in that game is borderline a maniac. He's blowing shit up with a smile on his face, like destroying shit, like smiling, laughing, making corny jokes and shit. I could see you being that guy. I could see you being that guy, Stagger. I could see your personality fitting that, just blowing shit up, jumping around everywhere, smiling and laughing, talking shit the whole time.
It'd be fun as hell, man.
Nice. Okay, cool. That's okay. What about you, Fuzz? We can't be a car. You can't be a Forza car. That doesn't count.
No. That's. Oh wait. Let me. So I don't mess up a name. Sam Fisher.
Okay.
Facebreaker was the game I was thinking about.
Oh, they're talking. Right.
I
was thinking Ready to Rumble. My fault. That's an older game. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I figure Sam Fisher out of Splinter Cell. Just I'll do that. Sneak up on people, take them out quietly, and go about my business.
Remind me to walk behind you.
No, tell me about it. All these aspirations to be a spy, essentially. But no, that's cool, man. For me, I think it's pretty much. I mean, come on now. I don't. This comes without saying. Come on now, everybody. You know who I'm picking. I think you guys can both. Come on, you obviously. Goddamn Master Chief. If you're not saying Master Chief, everything else is the wrong answer. That man is badass characters in the history of video games, bar fucking none. Not even close. So I love. Now I don't know if I could be in a suit as long as him, but I can hang out. You know, he can teach me. You know, I'll teach other people to be Spartans and use my cool abilities for cool regular shit. You know what I'm saying? But I think that being Master Chief would be amazing. I mean, yeah, you're always saving the universe, but who cares? That's just part of what you're doing. That's just part of what you're doing. But I think it'd be amazing to be him as a character. He's strong. He's a leader. Such good qualities. I mean, he's kind of a solo, loner guy, but it works out for him. Got Cortana as well. She's crazy now, but hopefully that'll settle itself out in this next game. But Master Chief for me, bar none, not even close. So I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up the show with that, man. It was such a great show today. We appreciate everybody coming. The chat was lit. I could hardly keep up, guys. So appreciate you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. We're going to let everybody here on the panel, let everybody know where they can find it, what they got going on, what they got coming up, man. So we're going to go ahead and start with you, Stagger. Let everybody know what you got going on for the week and in the near future.
Tomorrow, my buddy's doing a charity stream for the same thing I was doing, the 8-Bit Salute. I'm going to be supporting him, giving out codes to anybody who shows up for games. You can find me on my Mixer, which is just my gamer tag. The link will be probably below. I'm not spelling out my name anymore. But I'm on Twitter a lot, my Discord, and Mixer. Can't wait to come back next week.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And if you didn't know and you just walked in now, he is officially part of the Shop Podcast as a member. So you'll see Stagger on every week, every Saturday, man. I'm glad to have you as part of the show. It's been an amazing show. Guys, he does a lot for the community. Follow him on Mixer. I will make sure I edit my description, add all of that information below. Please go do that for me. He's an amazing guy. Please go follow him, support what he's doing over there. So we're going to go ahead and move on to Mr. Fuzzy Belvedere himself. Man, what do you got going on? What do you got planned? Hopefully a damn YouTube channel in the near future, but we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that off the record. But either way, man, let everybody know what you got going on.
Oh, this weekend, well, probably tomorrow and definitely on Monday, I'll probably be playing some of the Division 2, probably some Forza 7. I'm gonna wait to get back into Horizon 4 until they get the whole ability points on the cars fixed and stuff. But other than that, I'll definitely be playing some Xbox, although I gotta change the top on my vehicle. Got a Jeep and got yank the hard top off. I've been delaying it, and put the soft top on. It's finally that weather in the Northeast here where we got enough sunshine and not rain in the forecast for the umpteenth weekend. So be doing that this weekend. But yeah, you can find me on Twitter and YouTube as well as on Mixer, Fuzzy_Belvedere, or on Xbox Live, Fuzzy Space Belvedere.
Awesome, man. Go ahead and follow Fuzzy and support him as well, man. He streams from time to time. Go watch the stream or watch him sleep. Either one. It doesn't matter. He gets points for you being there, so it doesn't even matter. But appreciate you guys for being here. And once again, the host with the most PTK Blam across the board. Okay, go follow me on Twitter once again, guys. Excuse me. All of that information will be down below in the link in the description as well. Thank you for supporting the show, man. The show is growing. We're doing phenomenal. Every week it gets better and better. We'll see you guys next week. We got a lot coming up, but once again, thank you for their support. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe, everybody, over the holiday. Don't drink and drive. Please be safe. Have fun with your family. We'll see you guys next week, same time, same place. Another great show, great gamers. Peace out, everybody.
Have a good day.
Later.